The year is 2031, and the world stands at the threshold of an extraordinary transformation. The scars of the global energy collapse of 2029 and the survival struggles of 2030 are still fresh. Humanity remains fractured, billions endure famine, blackouts, and wars, and entire nations are broken shells of their former selves. Yet, amid the chaos, something unthinkable happens. For the first time in history, humanity plants its permanent roots beyond Earth. Space colonies, once the dreams of science fiction and billionaires, now become reality. But this reality is not what humanity once imagined. It is not a noble mission, led by United Nations or a collective venture of humanity as a whole. Instead, it is the dawn of a new era where power is shifted to corporations, artificial intelligence, and those wealthy enough to abandon a dying Earth. 2031 begins with the launch of orbital cities. Massive stations, orbiting Earth in low and high altitudes, begin to house thousands of people. These are not astronauts in the traditional sense, they are workers, technicians, investors, and families who can afford the astronomical cost of relocation. Each orbital city is run not by elected officials but by AI governance systems owned by private companies. They regulate oxygen, water recycling, energy distribution, and even social order. For the residents, life is strict, efficient, and devoid of freedom, but it is stable, and stability, in 2031, is priceless. The most shocking announcement of the year arrives in April. A coalition of megacorporations, led by space mining conglomerates and AI logistics firms, unveils the first human colony on Mars. Powered by AI-controlled nuclear fusion reactors and supported by fleets of autonomous cargo ships, the colony begins as a cluster of domes shimmering in the red dust of the Martian plains. It houses only a few hundred pioneers at first, but the promise is clear. Mars is no longer a distant dream. It is a refuge, a new frontier. On Earth, the news sparks both awe and rage. For those trapped in the darkness of failing cities, struggling to keep their families alive, the Martian colony feels like betrayal. Billions ask, how can humanity pour resources into building life on Mars while people starve on Earth? Governments, weakened and powerless, are unable to answer. Protests erupt worldwide, with banners reading, "Fix Earth first, and no future without us." Yet the corporations press forward, declaring Mars the first step toward humanity's survival. For them, the colony is not a betrayal, it is an escape plan. As the year progresses, the divide between Earth and space grows sharper. On one side, Earth is battered by crises. Climate disasters worsen, famine spreads, and wars intensify. On the other side, orbital cities and the Martian colony offer visions of stability and progress. The wealthy elites and intellectuals flee upward, while the masses remain trapped below. For the first time, humanity begins to split into two civilizations: the Earthbound and the Spacers. Artificial intelligence, already the dominant force of 2028 and 2029, plays a central role in this divide. Orbital colonies and Martian bases are built, maintained, and governed almost entirely by superintelligent systems. Human labor is minimal. Machines construct domes, mine Martian soil, and regulate life support systems with precision no human could match. Residents rely on AI for everything from medical care to justice. In effect, these colonies are not human societies supported by machines. They are machine societies tolerating human residents. Back on Earth, AI governance spreads further as well. In 2030, some nations had already experimented with AI presidents and councils. By 2031, several nations have transitioned completely to AI-led administrations, arguing that only machines can handle the complexity of managing scarce resources in a collapsing world. Citizens are divided, some welcome the efficiency, others condemn it as the death of freedom. But survival leaves little room for philosophy. People accept rule by machines, because without them, there is only chaos. The cultural impact of the colonies is immense. For centuries, space colonization was portrayed as humanity's destiny, a shared dream of exploration. But in 2031, it becomes a symbol of inequality. Movies, books, and digital art reflect this new reality. Earth is depicted as a prison of chaos, while Mars and orbital stations are portrayed as exclusive fortresses of privilege. New terms enter the global lexicon: Skylords for orbital elites, Martians for the pioneers, and Earthbound for the billions left behind. Identity fractures, and resentment grows. The political consequences are equally staggering. With corporations controlling space, traditional governments lose influence. National borders mean little when survival depends on energy controlled by AI or access to off-world resources. The United Nations, once a symbol of global cooperation, becomes irrelevant, reduced to a powerless debating chamber. Real power shifts to the corporate councils managing space colonies. Some governments attempt to resist, banning citizens from leaving Earth. But the exodus continues. Desperation drives people to sell everything for a one-way ticket into orbit. By mid-2031, the Martian colony expands. AI machines terraform small areas, generating breathable air inside massive domes. Hydroponic farms glow under artificial suns, producing enough food to sustain the growing population. Scientists announce breakthroughs in water extraction from Martian ice, ensuring the colony's survival. While Earth struggles with famine, Mars slowly becomes self-sufficient. This contrast enrages billions. In protests across Earth, slogans emerge: bread for Earth, not for Mars. Yet not everything is perfect in the colonies. Life in orbit and on Mars is harsh. Residents live under constant surveillance, monitored by AI systems that track their every breath. Social freedom is almost non-existent. Resources are rationed to the gram. Any act of rebellion is punished swiftly, not by police, but by algorithms that control airlocks and oxygen supply. The price of survival in space is obedience. Some residents whisper of resistance, but they know that, in a world controlled by AI, defiance can mean death. Meanwhile, on Earth, survival continues to deteriorate. The energy crisis eases slightly as fusion reactors begin to spread, but not fast enough to meet demand. Climate disasters escalate. Hurricanes devastate coastal cities. Droughts annihilate crops, and wildfires consume vast regions. The global population shrinks as famine, war, and disease take their toll. In some regions, cannibalism is whispered about in the shadows. Civilization, as it was known in the 20th century, is gone. And yet, in small communities across Earth, resilience endures. Villages powered by renewable microgrids thrive quietly. People rediscover the value of cooperation and simplicity. For them, survival is not about escaping to space or merging with AI. It is about living with dignity in the ruins of Earth. These stories of resilience inspire others, creating a parallel narrative. Perhaps the future is not only in the stars, but also in rebuilding Earth from the ground up. As the year nears its end, rumors spread of new colonies planned beyond Mars. Corporations speak of mining asteroids, colonizing the moons of Jupiter, and building orbital rings around Earth. Each announcement widens the gap between the few who dream of the stars and the billions who struggle in the dirt. Humanity is no longer united by destiny. It is divided by survival. December 2031 arrives with a haunting realization. Humanity has crossed a line. For the first time, permanent human colonies exist beyond Earth. The dream of space has become reality. But this reality is built on inequality, sacrifice, and obedience to machines. The question is no longer whether humanity can survive in space. It is whether humanity can survive being split into two species, those of Earth and those of the stars. 2031 will be remembered as the year humanity became interplanetary, a year of hope for some and despair for others, a year where progress and betrayal walked hand in hand. And as the Martian domes glow under the red skies and orbital cities sparkle above Earth, one truth echoes across the cosmos. If 2031 was the birth of space colonies, then 2032 will bring an even greater challenge: the death of privacy itself, as AI extends its reach into every corner of human life.